share inspiration. Welcome to the Power Up. So glad that you're joining us. Information is where we're going, and we're going to jump right into it. Technical difficulties and all. Family, we're going to start with Inside the News. As we discuss some high level information that is life changing to us all, the United Health Foundation, the World Health Organization, elevated quite a few months ago a global issue around elevated diabetes. That's what we're going to talk about this morning. How important it is to know facts, how so to help your family and to help you be better. Did you know that diabetes is so prevalent not just in the United States, but worldwide as one of the top 10 causes of death amongst all human beings? And remember, knowledge is power. So let's grow together. Prevalence is so important to understand with diabetes. In 2021, 38.4 million Americans, that's 11.6% of the population, has diabetes. That means 38 million people, 2 million Americans have type 1, including over 300,000 children and adolescents. Why is diabetes so important to know? Sadly, a lot of times it goes undiagnosed. And the more knowledgeable you are, the more you can make sure that you focus and ask questions during those physicals, during those moments when you have to look at your health and wellness, so that you can be preventive mode instead of reactive. They say that prevention is so much better than having to spend 3, 4, 7, 14 hours in an emergency room. So, as we consider us, let's consider our seniors who also deal with the high rate. 29% of them, y'all, 16 million seniors are diagnosed with diabetes. And many of us think that's okay, I'm taking medication for it. The Power Up wants to educate you and push that perspective. Do you know that if you're taking medications, still that's not okay? It may help one factor that you're living with, but it also can be detrimental to another organ or part of your body. 300,000 Americans under 20 are estimated to be diagnosed just in the next year. Has a lot to do with how we eat, our inactiveness, how we live our lives. So know the warning signs so that you can at least understand and ask the questions. Get your annual blood work done and figure out what you need to do to be healthy while you're being amazing. Common symptoms, just so you know, urinating often can be a sign that something is wrong. Feeling too thirsty. How about feeling hungry even when you just ate? Did you know extreme fatigue and blurry vision are key symptoms of diabetes? We want to tell you, listen, there's a resource. Why are we elevating this? First, let's send you to the resource. The American Diabetes Association. They are the agency who has healthcare professionals, scientists, and experts at the disposal of anyone who needs to know facts, information about certain prescriptions, maybe as we're discussing some of the diagnosis, some of the symptoms that can help you know that I'm feeling tingling in my fingers, I'm feeling pain in my feet, often another symptom. See, early detection is always best. Early detection of any disease can help it go from just small habits you can put in your daily life to and flourishing as you age to not paying attention to it and then having to deal with the worst case scenario. Sadly, diabetes can oftentimes lead to individuals ending up on an inspirator. ending up in medical facilities, having to have air forced into them because they can't breathe on their own. Can you get to the top of the steps without struggling? That might be a symptom that something's going on inside under the skin. The American Diabetes Association is available, has resources just for you. And remember, the more you know, the better your family will be, your community. You a coach, share with the kids. Everybody has to have a physical to play sports. Information is power. How much sugar and candy kids eat makes a difference in consumption and then how they age, right? Some people burn metabolism faster, some don't, just from genetics. Knowing and pouring into them is what you get to do. Do you work with the elderly? Are you part of a church or a community advocacy group that can make sure to understand how blood pressure screenings are so important, because elevated pressure can also be a symptom? Family, we challenge you to be the best you possible, and that includes healthy as well as financial, mental health, your social, your relationships, living life, come on, out loud and on purpose. We hope this information was helpful to you. Go to www.diabetes.org to get more information on the state of diabetes across America. And globally, you can tap into resources as well. Remember, our family across the water, still our family. And you could be the difference just from sharing information. We're excited to move forward with our show today because we're bringing in an expert who has poured years and years into ensuring the community lives well. So stay tuned. There's more after this.
What's up, family? It's your girl, Terry Y. Hicks, one-fifth of the amazing queens of empowerment from the Empowered Morning Show. And I am here to personally invite you to join us for the premiere of our brand new show, Queens of Behavior. That's right, we have a brand new show coming out. And before the world gets to see it, we want you to see it. So join us April 27th at 8 p.m. in Douglasville, Georgia at Studio T on Chapel Hill Road for the premiere of Queens of Behavior. It's a red carpet event, so make sure you dress for the occasion. We can't wait to see you there.
Welcome back, family. The Power Up is established on this We Empower network to share information that will equip you, educate you, empower you so that you can elevate the community where you are. And our guest is just that, someone with great information and heart for people. The Power Up production team is excited to welcome Mr. Chauncey Pendleton, who is based in the Washington, D.C. area, but has worked in fitness and health for more than 20 years, advocating for health and well-being and practicing healthy lifestyle tips. Some of his amazing work has helped communities, churches, seniors, and young folks. So, Chauncey, we're so glad to have you as part of the Power Up family today. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate the invitation. I appreciate the opportunity to share what I have learned through years of just being what started out as being a sports person. And it's amazing how when you get into really understanding what goes into sports, you start researching all the other aspects of what it means to be healthy. And I was a young guy. I remember my dad bought my first weight set for me. I think I was about 11. Yeah, I don't know. Some people may know. It's the little gray set that had the cement in it. You had the one low bar and so forth. And so that's where my love for lifting weights and all sort of shaped me. And then, you get into high school sports and it's just gone from there. And I'm happy to share what I've learned through my own research and conversations with people to this community on this platform. So thank you for having me.
Oh, no, thank you for sharing your insight. Having known your journey from athlete to bodybuilder to trainer, and then to not just do your own personal and endeavors in spite of injuries, but to pour into others, just starting at one. I would for you to help our attendees, our viewers, to think about that. What do you recommend as a fitness professional for where folks should start? What are the main top things they should do if they've never thought about fitness or struggling with health conditions and have to do something to get better? What do you recommend where they start?
Mindset. Mindset first. Don't think of it as I've got to come up with this elaborate program. No, you don't. Start by simply doing something, because a lot of times people will spend more time trying to figure out what to do instead of simply doing something. And that something is, start with the simplest thing that you can do. If God has blessed you and you have the ability to walk, walk. That's where you start. Start moving your extremities as much as you can. If people will say, well, I don't have money to go to a gym. I don't like the gym is an intimidating factor for many people, and that's legitimate. However, nowadays there are plenty of things that you can do in the comfort of your home to where you don't need a gym. To where, especially for our seniors, a lot of times we start you after a certain age, you start developing those certain health conditions, and most doctors will tell you just move around. If you can move around, you keep the your joints moving, you keep the fluids going through those joints, and so you don't develop conditions like osteoarthritis or osteoporosis, things like that. But it comes about many times just from lack of movement. So if you can walk outside, go take a walk. Start at that. If you can't get outside, something as simple as moving your arms up and down, maybe in a jumping jack motion, but you don't have to necessarily be doing it. If you can't move like that, all you're doing is just simply taking time to move your joints. That's where you start. It it's easy. It's not a People have made fitness, health and fitness into this thing where they feel as though I've got to have this big plan. And so you sort of talk yourself out of it before you do it, because you make more of it than what you have to. So if you got a couple of canned foods at home, put them in your hands, sit in your chair. Simple. You don't have to leave home to do this. You don't have to leave home to do cider. Those are simple things to get yourself going. But if you can get outside, especially for us in the African American community, enjoy the sunshine. We need it. We need the vitamin D. Much of our health concerns amongst African Americans is a lack of vitamin D. How do I know? Most people, when they go to their doctors will tell them, they do their blood test, you're low in vitamin D. And what do? The first thing they prescribe them is 50,000 units. Why? Because we don't get outside like we used to. So God has placed that wonderful sun in the sky to be able to feed our melanin skin, but we don't take advantage of it. And even if we do, sometimes our vitamin D is just naturally low. So therefore, it is important for us to get the supplementation to be able to combat that, because low vitamin D affects many other things that go on with the body. But it all starts with simply doing something. Just walk. Simple movement.
That's so powerful because having recently gone through multiple surgeries, having recently lived through like some very traumatic issues where I couldn't, my Yoda, my fitness advisor, was very, kept drilling the word consistency. Like, would text me, do something every day. You got to stay consistent.
something.
Talk about how important that is.
That is one of the biggest things, because what do we do as people with things? We start something, and if we don't see instantaneous gratification, we quit. We stop. If we get it in our minds that, all right, I want to lose 10 pounds. So what do? We're gonna go start exercising. We go join the gym. We're gonna say, well, I can afford $10 a month. I'm gonna go to Planet Fitness. But if we don't see that 10-pound weight loss within the first 2 days, all of a sudden now our motivation drops. I have a saying that I use for myself: discipline over motivation. Why? Because some days I'm not motivated. Some days you just are not motivated. Discipline gets you to do what you're not motivated to do. Why? Because I have a goal in mind, and understanding that the goal does not happen in 2 days. The goal may not happen in a week. I still have to be disciplined even when I don't see instant results. So, with that, it is doing something every day to help me get to my result. There's no way that I can sit here and say, I want to lose 10 pounds, but day one, I go work out. Day two, I can eat this. I'll be all right. I'll pick it up the next day. Day three, I'm going to go work out again, but I'm really not motivated. So I sort of don't really give it my all. But at the end of the week, we're looking at, how come I ain't lost any weight? No. There has to be a consistency in what you do. How consistent are you? How disciplined are you? How badly do you want to see change? That's the thing. We want to see change, but we don't want to put in the effort and the work that it requires to see change. We talk it. And I can say that even for myself. I've been through the yo-yo. I've been there. There are many days I have to tell myself to be disciplined to go do something. Even when physically I may not feel like it. Even when mentally I may not feel like it. Do something. And usually what happens when I start to do something and I get there, then the rest of me catches up. Now I'm there. Now I'm into it. But we talk ourselves, we allow our brains. This mind is very powerful. Our minds will either put us in position to accomplish or put us in a position to not accomplish. I learned over my years, I study the mindset of people, the mindset and actions of certain people. How did they get to where they got? What was the thought process behind it? You know me for many years, and understand I'm a sports junkie. My wife is happy that football season is over because she says that she has her husband back. But I am a sports junkie. It started back in school. I remember the first bodybuilder who I heard about, one of my classmates told me that. We're 15 years old. He was already into this at 15. He told me about a guy named Albert Beckles. Albert Beckles, you look at it, he's still, amazing. Guys like Lee Haney. These are African American. These got the work that they put in back in the day. There is one guy, they call him the Black Prince, Robbie Robinson. Robbie Robinson is in his late 70s. And he looks, for a guy in his late 70s, you would not believe the muscle that he still maintains. He still trains. The thought process that goes into that sort of thing. Most people who know me know that one of my favorite bodybuilders has always been Ronnie Coleman. And, I've watched everything concerning Ronnie Coleman. I've listened to what went into the thought process to do what he's done. I've listened to Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I've taken that even into the other sports areas, and even into business aspects. to find out what do these guys do to be able to achieve what they've achieved. Now, I'm still pressing. I'm still trying to get to it. But the one person that here lately, you hear a lot about it, and people have started to delve into what his thought process was the late Kobe Bryant. And to hear the mental process that he put into becoming who he became. I was just listening today before this show. I was at the gym and I was on the machine and I was listening, and they were talking about him. I was listening to an interview and someone was talking about him as a teenager. And they said, while many other kids were off doing what they were doing, he wanted to study every movement of Michael Jordan. He studied how Michael went to his left, how Michael went to his right, how he defended guys, how he played, what his mindset was. This is as a young guy. So as he progressed with his career, you saw everybody wanted to be the next Michael Jordan. That's all they said. They tried to anoint everyone as the next Michael Jordan. But Kobe Bryant was the one guy, if you were to take the jerseys off, you could see flip-flop them. It was identical because he wanted to be great. So he studied greatness. We want results, but we don't want to do what it takes to get the results. Then when we develop other issues, now we're upset. When someone was telling us, hey, don't do this, don't eat this, you're having too much of this, if you don't slow it down, here's what can happen. And when it finally happens, now we mad at God. We said, God, why did you allow this to happen to me? And God is saying, I sent you the signs. I sent you the witness to tell you to slow down. So now here's me that comes in to try now to help you to correct what you could have avoided in the first place, but not beat you up in the process.
And man, those who walk the journey of helping others achieve their goals, like those physical therapists, those fitness professionals, whether at the gym or one-on-ones or whatever they do, certainly come with so much information and passion. So thank you for just pouring into us today. I want to go, if you will, into the health side of it.
Sure.
You are big on nutrition.
Yeah.
You are so big on nutrition that I've witnessed you with clients say, before we touch a machine, you got to write down everything you've eaten for a week. Why is that so important?
Because many times eating is so commonplace, so natural. Many times we don't realize we've eaten what we've eaten. Again, it goes back to, we do it so much, it's second nature. We eat the wrong stuff, and then when we develop the condition, now we're trying to figure out, well, what did I do? How did I get this way? I've been there. I have been there. And even now, I'm not going to sit here and try to front like everything is perfect, like I am in tip-top condition. No, I'm working at it too. But first thing, anybody who works, if you want information from me, you want me to help you get my first thing I tell you, like I said with you, I need you to write down everything that you put into your mouth to consume throughout the day. Because many times, little changes can have big results. And a lot of times, we don't realize what we eat until we start to consciously take note of it. Which is why I say the mind is so powerful. We can sit there and we can most times we tell ourselves, I can eat that. I'll be all right. I'll be okay. I can have this one time. I get it. I understand it. But if you want to work with me, that's what I want to see, because I want to see What am I working with here? Because let's not take up your time and mine if we're not going to really do this to see results. And so that's the nutrition part of it. That's the critical piece. Many people think that going to the gym is the thing. No. 80% of your change comes from what you eat. That's all. 10%, 20% is from the gym. I'll say this. 70% is what you eat. 10% is what you drink. 10% is the gym. So most of the time, our calories that we consume, many of us, we drink it. And what do I mean by that? Those who consume alcohol, you drink it. Sodas, you drink it. People say, well, it's diet, so yeah, okay. It still has sugars in it. It still has things in it. You know, this platform you're talking about, diabetes. Diabetes will sneak up on you so quick, you don't even realize it. Why? Because many times there are some signs, like you shared earlier, there are some signs, but we don't always attribute those signs to heading towards diabetes. And we don't find out about it until we go to the doctor for whatever condition and they draw our blood and they see, oh, your A1C level is above 6.4. You're diabetic. So what you consume will definitely tell on you eventually. Again, ask me how I know. I haven't taken life and been perfect with it. Way overweight. My doctor said, listen, you will have to get it together. I've been that route. Thank God I never developed diabetes. But she said, if you continue on this route, you will, even with your weight. My weight at one time was over 300. I had never been over 300 pounds. But as we say, life happens. That's real. I get it. But do we continue to let life happen? Or do we get it together? You know, let me throw the church aspect to it. We use the term in Romans and say, what shall we continue in sin? Romans chapter 6, that grace may abound. God forbid. Okay. What shall we say? Do we continue on this path of being unhealthy to continue to develop additional issues, additional health concerns? No. We stop. When someone tells us you're going to stop one way or another, your doctor tells you you have diabetes, what are they going to do? They are going to put you on insulin. You're either going to take a pill or a shot. Now, I come in and I'm telling you, I need you to write down everything that you want, that you're eating, that you're consuming. Why? Because I want to see where we can mark off stuff and how bad it is so that you don't have to get to the diabetic realm. But most people will fuss, fight, kick, cry, and argue with me for asking them to do that. But when your doctor tells you you need to take this insulin, you're either going to take it or your sugar level's going to hit a point where you're going to be in a stroke, a coma, or what have you. You're going to end up with it. Or your kidneys will burn out, then you'll be on dialysis. I am in the wonderful position of being married to probably one of the most informed kidney people in the city of Baltimore. My wife knows everything there is to know concerning diabetes, concerning kidney disease, and all of that. And so I've learned those pieces of it as our years have gone on together. So it's a serious thing for me because I've added that piece of information to what I share with people as it pertains to health and fitness and health and wellness. because I've seen, how being on dialysis affects you. You can live, yes, you can live on dialysis. As my wife has shared with me, it's a new way of living. However, my job is to help you not have to live that way. So when I say I need to know what you're consuming, everything that you could, so that therefore, if I see, all right, you had this many sodas, you had this amount of carbs, you had potatoes. Commercials are wonderful. They look so good, but everything's filled with carbs. So you had these fries, these potatoes, you went and had all of this other stuff. But you wonder why I'm not losing any weight. I'm sluggish. I don't have any energy. And men, that's a whole nother topic. Men's health is a whole nother topic. So that's my ramble. That's my
Well, we're gonna bring you. No, listen. Your knowledge is from experience and the versatility and the different people you work with, and we can appreciate that, which is why we're glad you came to the Power Up today. We do want to have you back to address men's health, and it's more of your story that can be helpful. Before we let you go, though, one of the things that I can appreciate is watching you as a community advocate and the way you celebrate others, the way you find opportunities. I'll give you an example. There was a senior who just told you that because she was able to get to the top of the steps and come off of medication, like you just applauded, and it was the biggest thing ever. It wasn't about losing 50 pounds. It was about her goals and meeting what she needed to meet. As we wrap up our segment with you, if you would, could you share a minute to pour into someone who their goals might not be the gym and those type of things. It might just be trying to live well.
Absolutely.
And hear from you.
Absolutely. One thing I say, and I'm actually in the process of working on a sort of, I don't want to call it necessary. It's not a huge book, but it's sort of an information pack type thing. Is where, from a Christian perspective, mostly is how our body is the temple of God. The Bible says your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, but how our body is the temple and how we need to treat our bodies. But the thing about it is, people say, well, I don't really have any goals. Yeah, you can. Simple stuff. Because all of us, there's something that all of us that we can't do. It doesn't matter. If you can't walk up a flight of stairs without being out of breath, the goal then is to be able to walk up those flights of stairs and not be out of breath. That's the goal. But my philosophy is celebrate everything that's a win. It doesn't matter what it is. It does not matter. If you are able to get up out of a chair faster today than you did yesterday, that's a win. If you are able to bend over to tie your shoe today and it was a little more difficult the day before, that's a win. It doesn't matter what it is. If you were able to go a full day without any sodas, and all you had was your water, that's a win. I'm gonna celebrate that because I understand the importance of it. There are trainers out there who want to get down on you because maybe you didn't lose any weight. Okay. Did you put in the effort? Did you do something? That's my thing. Did you do something? If you got up and you had said, you know what, I'm going to exercise today, and you did it, there's a win. I'm not telling you got to go out there and you got to lift the gym, as my wife says. You don't have to go lift the gym. You don't have to go out there and think that you're going to run a marathon. No. Today, you got out the house, you walked around the block twice, and that was it. That's a win. I'm going to celebrate that. As you progress, we increase the things that you can do. But it's no need of me telling you to go to the track and walk a mile and you having difficulties walking from your house to the mailbox. No. But if you are able to go from your house to the mailbox, from your mailbox to the corner, and you came back and you weren't out of breath, awesome. Let's move on. Let's keep going. Know your body is the temple. Treat your body how you want God to treat you. That's the thing. Respect your body the way that you want God to respect you. We say that God dwells on the inside, but we're not treating ourselves as though God dwells on the inside. If you remember, God went to the temple. He cleaned the temple because of things that were going on in the temple. Let's clean our temples so that God has a clean place to dwell, so that we're not suffering from health conditions that we can afford, that we can avoid, that we can be the best version of ourselves for the kingdom of God.
Listen, the best that we are, the best daughter, son, husband, wife, grandparent, community leader, co-worker, everything. Because whatever we touch can only prosper and flourish as we thrive in life. Chauncey Pendleton, we're so glad that you joined us today. We plan, family, you heard him, commit to coming back. So we're looking forward to that. Man, I hope you receive what I feel, what I've witnessed this man pour into others. And listen, if nothing else, start is where he started. Do something. Thank you so much for joining us. Family, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Hey family, it's Tami, your empowerment coach with this elevation moment. Sometimes life will put us in circumstances that don't feel good, but that doesn't mean it's not good for us. Just because you are forced to shift out of a situation into a new situation is when you can embrace the new before you. Consider what you need in the moment when changes happen. Let me give you an example. Recently losing my dad, a shift happened. My hero, the one I relied on, picked up the phone, picked me up when I was down, sent me money when I was in need. That is gone. But I learned so much from watching him, from being in his presence, that it now in this shift moment, even when it hurts, has me in a better place to be a difference. Whatever your situation is and the new in front of you, embrace it and go be great. Welcome back to the Power Up family. We're going to keep going into our motivation moment. We're responding to a viewer inquiry, 3 pages long, typing up a lot of what they've experienced. Certainly content was a lot on a confidential level. So I want to kind of put it Tamirized. Basically, this individual is sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's the short of the entire message. And what we want to do today is remind you of a few things. First, anytime you've exhausted all your efforts in a space, relationship, at the job, in your community, in that home, with those people, if you're in a place where you've exhausted and feel like you have nothing left, there's a reason for that. And what you have to do is go into assessment mode. Is this where I want to keep pouring my energy? Is this beneficial to me any longer? And then the all important question, why am I staying here? Some of us stay in situations for comfort. In other words, you just don't want to let it go out of the fear of what might be new or in front of you that's different than what you're used to. One of those reasons some people grow up in the same community, live in the same community, and don't want to leave their community, maybe even their neighborhood. Sometimes it's forgetting that there's a whole world out there. New is all around you, different that can be embraced. But because of comfort, I can't. I don't even know what that language is. I don't know what it's like down south. I'm going to stay up here. I don't know what it's like up there. And I've never tried. We get to the point where we live in a space and exist in unhappiness. And we want to challenge that mentality today. Being sick and tired is not okay. If you've ever heard yourself say a lot, I can't do this anymore. If you've heard yourself say words that let you know it's time to move on, baby, get your plan, get your excitement, tap into mentors, advisors, all the people around you that need to help you in this moment of shifting, and embrace it because there's so much new in front of you. And the great thing about new is it can be discouraging, but it can be exciting. And the absence of information means the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to gain new perspective. Maybe you don't know what it's like to live in another state, but once you get there and live there, you'll know. Maybe you don't know what it's like to have to be forced into something different. But once you get there, you'll know. And then when you look back in a year or 2 years, you can say, man, I did that. In the face of fear, I did it. While I was crying and screaming, I did that. While I had to let go of everybody and everything I knew, I did that. And not only am I better for it, I've learned resilience, how to get down and get back up. I've learned endurance, that no matter what it seems like or feels like, I can keep on going and win at this thing. I've learned perseverance, the importance of not quitting on me. Family, don't quit on you today. Be so open to everything that has your name on it that if it's not in the space you're in now, that's okay. I just need to get to the space where it is. I would for you to consider this. You aren't now where you were 20 years ago. You're not still a kid or a teenager, right? Recently graduated high school, having to figure out your first. Some of us are seasoned because of experiences through life, because of shifts. Some of it was unwelcome. You don't think a lot of folks were sick and tired of COVID? But we all had to find a way to exist and change in a pandemic. We went from doing everything in person to everything online. Virtual lifestyle became the thing so much that people who didn't want employees to telework because I had to see what you're doing found ways to appreciate getting the greatness out of folks because they were able to take commuting and a healthy lifestyle into consideration. Whatever it is you're facing, and a lot of times it might not be easy. Saying goodbye, especially to loved ones, is hard. Even the ones you gotta say goodbye to. The friend that just isn't in your space, isn't what you need at this point in your life. Sometimes it's hard to just let folks go. But what we want to remind you of is the greatness of you is not bound to a person. You have everything you need in here to win. The rest It's just you putting one foot in front of the other and experiencing all that life has. Come on and live this best life that's promised to you. Thank you to the viewer for writing in her he or she, very honest approach, very honest perspective, raw in the feelings of, I just can't take it anymore. And I want to leave you with this thought. When we read and hear all about how you're winning and celebrate you, the one thing we will never read is that you quit in the moment. You keep going. Get whatever tools and stuff your backpack with everything that you need. Get the knowledge and wisdom, go those motivational tips, those podcasts, that positive music, the positive people. Surround yourself with what you need and come on. Rise up, stand up, and show up because you deserve everything you do right now makes a difference in your future. And that you is going to appreciate all that you're doing right now, even in the feeling of being sick and tired. Family, this moment will pass. Don't make a permanent decision in a temporary state because you're still a winner, even when it doesn't feel like it. We hope this motivation moment helped our viewer because it sure helped me. Some things you just got to speak and hear out loud, family. We're going into our wrap up with a powerful show. Stay tuned. There's more after this.
Hi, guys. It's Tina Wynn, your host of the podcast, You See Me. I want you guys to stay encouraged, continue to come out and see me, and most importantly, see yourselves. Remember, the only way that you can truly enjoy life is to see other people so that you can enjoy the beauty of seeing yourself. Come join me Saturdays at 4 on the We Empowered Network. Thank you.
Family, wow. What a very informative segment we had today, which is what we always promise to deliver, that we're going to equip and educate you so that what you do with it, you're held accountable to, how you can fix your community, how you can elevate those around you, whatever way you do it, whether it's on social media and sharing some of the information discussed, or figuring out how you can access resources available. We want to remind you that you can go to the American Diabetes Association to get information on diabetes and how to prevent it, how to live through it. And can I tell you that diabetes is reversible? It does not have to be a death sentence. It is, as you get knowledge, it's something that can go in reverse. And that's even with folks who might have it as part of their genetics. But do you know that? Have you been tested? Have you made sure that you have current blood work? Or are you the type that just keeps going till you fall apart? The only medical treatment you get is when you visit the emergency room or urgent care. Family, there are things you can adapt right now to make it so you don't ever have to be in an emergency room unless it's a show enough emergency. Because you're doing what's called healthy living well. And you deserve it. Tap into all the information that's out there, www.diabetes.org, where you can get real-time information on diabetes health. We want to thank our guest for today, Mr. Chauncey Pendleton, who poured into us information on healthcare, on healthy living, there we go, and fitness. Yes, to be very clear, how we do what we do impacts us. Pouring into his decades of information and touching the lives of so many with some basic tips that you can use. Number one, just start. Movement on any level is movement that's good for you. Scientists have said, and I can't quote who said it, but I know somebody said it, that what's in motion stays in motion. So think about the fact that if you don't use it, you'll lose it. Ask those folks who it hurts every time you sit down and stand up, you're making those grunt noises. Maybe it means you need to sit down and stand up a little more often to help your knees. Thank you, Chauncey, for coming to us and reminding us that there are basic things we can do and leaving with some motivation that all we have to do is celebrate our wins. Every little thing matters. Congratulations to that senior who was able to come off medications simply because she changed what she was eating. She didn't, as Chauncey said, join a marathon. She wasn't running miles and miles and lifting in the gym every day. But what she did was make small changes that work for her lifestyle. And small changes make great big differences. Thank you, sir. And also for reminding us that, yeah, what we consume is most of the problem. I think you used 70-30, 80-20, whatever your percentages were. Absolutely, it goes with what we eat first. Remember, and thank you for pointing it out, those Cokes, yeah, those juices that have all the sugar in it, and then you eat carbs too that turn into sugar, bread, rice, pastas, potatoes, and then you eat downright sugar, those Snickers bars and Skittles and everything else, right? Whatever the monster drinks and all of that might help you in a moment. But what is it doing to your long-term life and ability to live a happy, healthy life where you can keep moving? See, the things you do now could possibly prevent you from having to be turned over in your senior years by someone else. Isn't that enough motivation to start now? To think that I don't want to be here in my senior years and have to depend on someone else to use the bathroom just to get around. Now I'm going to deal with an aging, frail body, but I can build my muscle strength now to help me still care for me and still live and enjoy the trips and the shopping and everything else that folk love to do. Whatever is in your future can only be better because of what you start to do right now. We thank Chauncey for joining us. Fitness and health are intertwined. And for reminding us that if you're not the type to have a gym membership, that's okay too. The gym isn't for everybody. What is for everybody is figuring out what you need to do and doing it right now so that you can win and start to see a difference. One other point that Chauncey shared, how important it is to set your goals. Make sure that you see what you want to accomplish. As he says, he makes all of his folks start with writing down what you consume. Because then, before you really start the sweating, we can see what your lifestyle is. We can have a good conversation, a holistic approach versus just go pick up those weights and now you've torn a rotator cuff. Ooh, come on, somebody. Yeah, sometimes there's bad fitness professionals too. So what we do is grow in knowledge. That's why we bring the best to you. We look forward to having him come back to discuss men's health and to continue to pour into our knowledge so that we can be better. And then we shared a response to a viewer who just plain in Tammy's terms says she's sick and tired of being sick and tired. Family, at times we all get there. We all get there. We live in a place of expectations. We expect people to understand where we're coming from, to appreciate our point of view, to value us as other human beings. We expect individuals to basically be us. Yeah, because otherwise, nobody's going to see it your way. Other people are going to process differently. And expectations don't work. And honestly, you can put all the expectations you want on me, but I'm so focused on my goals and driven my life and caring for my family and all the things that I have to do that at the most, I will do what I can. But it doesn't ever mean I can give you what you need for you to win, right? We're all in this thing called life together. Make sure you tap into the resources around you. Tap into those who you might need. And continue to feel free to send us your viewer questions, and we will continue to bring experts to you, knowledge and information. As always, before we end our show, we thank our production team behind the scene who operates in excellence. And we thank this platform for allowing all the information we share to be used in the best, most efficient, and vetted way. We don't share information here that's not supported and audited to make sure it is truth. We also want to share a very special thank you to our men and women in the armed forces who sacrifice their families to guard our protections, our borders, our freedom. To the veterans who trailblazed and already put your time in, thank you for your service. We thank our men and women in blue, those who serve and run in harm's way, firefighters, 911's responders who are there when we're in the most crisis state. To the medical professionals who let us show up coughing, sniffing, all that on them while they also don't know what's going on and trying to figure it out together until they can get a full picture of you to give you an answer. But with compassion, offer care. Caregivers as well, we appreciate you taking care of our seniors. Educators, teachers pouring into the babies. Whatever you do, you are uniquely designed to be the difference maker right where you are. You have the ability to shift an atmosphere. Not worried about, I can't talk to those kids, they crazy, or they making all that noise. How about engage with them so that your relevance is a factor? Here's the thing, words and knowledge are seeds. So if you speak it and drop it on someone, you might not see an instant change, but you don't know what that might do in the future. You know how many times now I think about what my great grandmother used to share when she was older. I get it now that I'm a grandma. When I was younger, she was just talking and I was just loving to hear her talk. But now the perspective has changed so much so that it makes sense. Her seeds took root and they're now helping me to be the best I can possibly be to the next generation. Family, it's the same for you. Whatever you do, lead with purpose, lead with heart, lead with integrity, and lead to be the difference. Not to look for somebody else to do it. You do it. It's meant for you. No matter, listen, you can see everybody around you doing something similar. And you know how many authors are out there? So what? Go be an author if that's what's in you to do. The information you have in your heart coming out on pages, whoop, can be powerful to that person that's in position and needs to hear your voice at that particular time. We hope that our show today was informative and inspirational. We're always glad that you take time to join us. Family, send any inquiry. We're on all social media platforms. Join the We Empower Nation so that you can have support 24/7. And we look forward to seeing you next time.